Detours family, welcome to another episode, a Christmas episode. I am here with my beautiful wife, Deb.
Hi, guys.
And we are here today to talk to you guys about something that we all experience during the holidays. Isn't that right, Deb?
For sure. Dysfunctional families.
The stress. Yes, how to survive the holidays. We know some of you will be on the road listening to us on your journey to your destination with your family members. So just some tips that we have learned over the years as we've dealt with our own family dysfunction, right?
For sure.
That's not the Christian families don't have
Oh,
dysfunction.
no, never.
So, but this is just what we've witnessed in other people's family, definitely not our own.
Oh,
But-
please.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, I mean, I've been around your family long enough that I've witnessed all this dysfunctions. You know,
We haven't been around your family to know there's dysfunction.
yeah,
So
exactly. I'm safe.
full credit. I'll take full credit.
I'm safe. My family's up in the Midwest.
That's true.
But yeah, we've all been there traveling, yelling, screaming kids, stress of the holidays where you need a vacation from your vacation. My goodness. So what do we do, Deb? How do we avoid all this stress?
Well, first we realize that all families are dysfunctional. And if we think otherwise, we're not being truthful. Because the Bible tells us all these families that they put in front of us are dysfunctional, right? So you can at least rest in the fact that you're not alone, that this is normal. May not be fun, but you're not an outlier. There are plenty of dysfunctional families. So one is that whole acceptance of, okay, I'm going to do this holiday with these crazy people that I call family. And I have to show up and be responsible for me. That's my advice. Is I can't control anyone else's behavior. I can only control mine.
Yes. So one of the things that is potentially stressful for me during the holidays is I'll take on too much, too many responsibility rather than evenly delegating responsibility out. Like when we have family dinner, most of the time I love to cook. So most of the time I do the majority of the cooking and so on and so forth.
You feel you're not being helped?
No, I enjoy it, so I do it, but it's just for the 6 family members that are here in the house on a Friday or Saturday evening versus a holiday season where it's 10, 15, 20 people. For one person to take all that on is overwhelming. It's unnecessary stress. Delegate it out. That is one of the hardest things for me to do. Is give responsibility to someone else.
I know. I don't want the audience to think I don't help. So let's just clear that up. I'm a great sous chef. I'm a great chef, not to brag.
Oh no!
I think
Oh,
we're
this is
good
a fault
team.
of This is a fault of mine, not something that you're not doing well. But it is trouble. It's hard for me to delegate. I don't know if it's a control thing. I don't know what it is, but during the holidays, that can be hard for me.
Yeah, and I not to pinpoint you necessarily, but I think when people have a hard time delegating, it's a lack of trust in anyone else's ability to get it right or get it as good as your expectation would be. And I see that in lots of my own family members where they're just like, their way is the only way that's going to work. And there's lots of ways to skin a cat. So I think with the stress of being overworked and not enough delegation for people, I think the best thing is to recognize that you do that, right? And go, okay, I do this. Now what? And then the next step is to find things that you can give to people to do.
Yeah, and I'll put a flaw on top of a flaw for myself. The second flaw that I have is the expectation of perfection.
Oh,
That's why sometimes it's hard for me to delegate. Is the reality is I need to redefine and lower the expectation of perfection, in
Right.
myself, that I want everything to go well everyone to be well fed, to be well entertained, and so on and so forth. And it almost becomes like a bunch of tasks for myself that is everyone else's day or week or whatever it may be. And I think part of that added stress is, each year I have to just kind of lower my expectations and not worry about everything going smoothly.
Yeah, I think that it depletes the joy of,
It does.
yeah, of serving people, of hospitality, of, you know, it's never going to be perfect. Again, you're serving a bunch of imperfect people and on an imperfect planet.
Well, and it's not my responsibility to make everything perfect,
Right.
but for some reason, I'll have a tendency to I'll just do that. I'll just do that. And then when something doesn't go perfect, I take it personally, or it just stresses me out, and it's just not healthy. So this is definitely a do as I say and not as I do episode, because I do not have these things perfected.
Well, you're a work in progress, as am I.
Sure.
And just, I think the expectation thing is a great launching pad for any kind of interaction with family. Or not just family, but people in general, is the expectation that they're going to show up the way you really want them to, and they never do. So it's one of those things where, um, like in family dynamics, right? Everybody plays a role. Everybody is dancing a dance, whether they know it or not. And, sometimes you get stuck in these roles where, like, you know, people assume things of you. Like, for instance, if you have the family hero or the family scapegoat or the family drama person or whatever it may be, you're going to get trapped in those roles. And the expectation is that you're going to play that dance. And that could be very triggering when you decide to show up and be a healthy human being with boundaries. And that typically will set somebody off. And there goes the craziness of the family dinner time. So I think lowering expectations of how other people are going to show up at holidays is a really good start. It's really what matters is how am I going to show up, whether it's doing a task, whether it's a conversation we're having, whether, there's always those family members that are antagonistic. How am I going to show up for that?
Well, and there's always unspoken tension when you put enough family members in the room,
Hmm.
that during the holidays, just, so many people travel, added stress. You have to get the kids packed and in the car, added stress. You have all these plans, added stress. You just have all this dynamite kind of being compressed,
True.
and it just creates those situations where, hey, there's a lot of unspoken, unfinished business with families, and when you get everybody together, it just kind of ignites.
Yeah, it can for sure.
And I think one of the things to just help with all of that is just kind of prioritizing, like Pastor Bill, the guy who mentors us and married us. He'll often say, as a Christian, your job is, you have two things you got to do: you got to love and you got to serve. So looking at that through the lens of just kind of the holidays, I think you just kind of got to focus on the people and not the plans. So focus on the people that are coming to visit, and don't worry if things don't go to plan.
Well, I want to talk to the person that, like, is to challenge to, like, love the people,
Sure.
you know? Because whether we say it out loud or not, there's family members that are challenging to love, and we don't always talk about that. It's like we kind of sweep that under the rug and you're like, "Oh, there they are." But the challenge is, how do I mm, how do I be respectful even if I don't agree with them? That's a big thing. Are there certain phrases I can say to myself to calm myself down when triggers come up? Like, um, kind of my family motto is people's opinion of me is none of my business. I don't know if it's my family motto, but I'm trying to adopt that in life. Is I don't always have to be liked, and as long as I'm being respectful, that's really important. I have to ask myself, if I'm going to respond to someone, is it kind and is it necessary? Right? Is it kind? I mean, can I say something in a respectful way? And is it even necessary to say? Sometimes it's just not necessary.
Yeah, biting your tongue, having that hesitation
Mhm.
can be worth its weight in gold for sure.
Yes.
And one of the things you've mentioned several times in this episode, boundaries. What are all the boundaries that you find that are necessary and healthy during the holiday season?
Well, I think we've already touched on expectations of ourselves and others. The boundary of not having everything go perfect. Like I'm good enough whether the holiday table looks a certain way, whether I have all the gifts under the tree. Like I'm God is satisfied in my heart and not necessarily my performance. Uh, Boundary of knowing when a conversation is getting to the point where you're like, do I want to participate in this? I don't have to. I don't have to participate in this. And so having a boundary like an exit strategy almost out of a conversation. So those things that you can say to people without escalating an argument. And I always think that the very first thing you have to do, and this isn't my idea, I actually got it from a podcaster I really like. His name is Jefferson something. It'll come to me. But taking a deep breath, letting your first word be a breath so that you're not just letting stuff come out of your mouth that you cannot take back. You ever just say something and you're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that out loud." My inner thought came out of my mouth. So having your breath be Jefferson Fisher is the podcaster. That's his, not mine. That you really just pause for a moment. Think about what you're going to say and whether it's even worth saying. So that's a great boundary to have.
Sure, fruit of the spirit, right?
Yes, self-control.
Self-control. How about this as a boundary? We both experience this, and we've both become ninjas when it comes to this one. How long, when people are from out of town, how long do they stay at the house?
Mm. I have a 3-day rule.
As do I. That's why we make a wonderful couple. Anyone is welcome to come into town, and they can stay with us, but you will be leaving on day number 4,
Yeah,
regardless of who it.
see, after day 3, I don't know what it is, but I've noticed it.
That seems to be what happens for you and I, definitely with people coming in. It does just change, the dynamic just change by day 4. People are tired, and if you overstay your welcome, that tiredness just drags out, and people's attitudes change, and you just kind of want things back the way they were. So yeah, I think, and that's when people are staying in the house. If you have people that are staying in a hotel nearby, that might be a different story where
It's a little lengthier time frame
yeah,
than 3 days.
you still have your space. So if you live in if you go stay in a hotel, you can always, go entertain yourselves. We live in Central Florida. You can always run over to Disney for a day. You can do things to break it up. But just the point is more know the boundary there as to what is healthy.
Right.
But you and I, we definitely are on the same page with
And
that
it's
one.
funny, I think it's been unspoken. Neither one of us have said we have a 3-day rule, but we we both have that rhythm, and it's good.
It
It's a good
is.
rhythm.
It's very healthy that you and I are on that same page, because it is an unspoken rule for both of us that, yeah, you come into town, anybody is welcome to stay.
You got 3 days. Figure it out.
Yeah, at that point, go get an Airbnb,
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just understanding that as a boundary. Are there any other boundaries you can think of? That's the main one for me, definitely, is knowing that timing.
Yeah, and I think because I tend to have some triggering family members is how am I gonna show up when something hits home? Something that's, like, deeply rooted. Like, how am I gonna show up? And actually having a pre-plan, like, there are certain family members you can hang out with and it's great, and there are other ones that you see and you're like, "Oh, they're coming to, Christmas dinner." And really understanding that I have to have some sort of mental plan so that I behave in a way that, again, is truthful, respectful, and I don't lose my testimony. And you know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
if I know that somebody is going to trigger the like, you're overly sensitive, let's say hypothetically, I can say in my mind, my feelings are valid. Like, I know that this person has negative things to say about me even before they get to the dinner table at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever holiday comes up, and my feelings are valid. Like, having a motto you say to yourself when you know you have a triggering family member, when you have that one person that just likes to, just jab at you, and, being prepared. Like, I think we prepare for a lot of things in, daily life and in work, and, we plan vacations and we plan this and we plan that, but we don't plan to have a good emotional strategy for toxic people. And we need to, so that we have a nice holiday.
And it shouldn't surprise us when we
Mhm.
run into that, but oftentimes we just, yeah, we aren't prepared for it.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the areas that I like to prepare for is just leaving buffer time during the day. If you plan out your entire day from start to finish with no rest time, no downtime, I'm always significantly more stressed. It's one thing if you've got a day where you're doing that,
Right.
but when the whole vacation is nothing but back-to-back days where the whole family's running around, going out to eat, going to entertainment, this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
you have to have that time to do nothing.
That's true, and you're also an introvert, so you know that about yourself. We know that about you, like, so knowing what you can handle, and you definitely need some quiet and a little bit of peace and alone time to recharge. So I think that is wise, is knowing, like, I don't have to have every minute planned. Like, I need to plan for rest, otherwise I'm gonna be cranky if not.
Yeah, and even just planning for rest, for me, I have to be honest with myself about how well I'm gonna sleep when I get to my destination, and understanding the ramifications of, I travel a fair amount for work and so on and so forth, and so I have to pack pillows ahead of time to make sure that when I get there, there's enough, and they're the right kind so that I get at least a halfway decent amount of sleep, and if you're flying somewhere, that may not be an option. So just understanding ahead of time the impact that potentially not getting the sleep you need might have on you.
That's true. There's a full-time job taking care of yourself in a sense, like, and I never even thought about that, but I do watch you prepare for that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
well, actually we both do because I get the earplugs and the anti-snoring thing, and we're all trying to just get the best quality sleep, because you're right. Lack of sleep makes you so much more vulnerable to bad family interactions.
It is, in my own bed, I have my nook that I get into every night. I got the pillows situated exactly how I like. I've bought the pillows I like. I go to my, I'm somebody, I have to have air movement. It doesn't have to be freezing cold or it doesn't have to be hot, but I have to have air movement. I need my white noise.
Oh my goodness.
So you were loving enough to get me a little white noise machine, and you gotta prep for yourself to get that sleep.
That is valid stuff.
Care for yourself because you care for yourself differently when you're traveling than when you're at home. So make sure you plan for that.
Self-care.
Totally, and I think that kind of my last piece of advice for getting ready for the holiday is just health in general. Take care of yourself. We kind of bookend this season with Halloween and then New Year's, and it's just a bunch of junk food in between and late nights and parties and stress. Just go eat a salad, drink some water, go for a walk. You called me today when you got home from work. Where are you? I'm out taking a walk. I want to get some exercise. This is definitely the season to take care of yourself because you know, The mental capacity is dependent on the physical body a lot of times. So if you
A lot of
garbage
time.
in, garbage out, and from October to January 1st, there's a lot of garbage going in. So you don't want the garbage coming out when your family's around. So just that, I definitely make a conscious effort to be more healthy. I think, yeah, just last week we both did a fast, and we're doing things right now to just stay ahead of it,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good advice in general, is whenever you don't feel well, you don't always behave well. So take good care.
Yeah, you're gonna need a clear head to deal with all these family members that just press the buttons, or or divas, or whatever it may be.
Divas, I love that.
Yeah, we've all got those diva cousins that come in, and we know they require a lot of attention, whatever it may be. But I think these are all kind of the things that I'll put into play myself.
And being prayed up.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't break that's a great point. Don't break your rhythm with God. If your rhythm is get up early and pray and read the Bible, then keep that rhythm. Do not put that off. This is the time. It's funny, when you need God, so many times when you need him the most is when people will run from him. If you do something wrong, you don't run to him to repent. You run to hide in the other direction. So many times when we need him the most, the natural reactions to go in the other direction.
Yeah, that's a bad habit. And I can tend to do that at times. And I have to always remind myself I can't go into any situation not covered in prayer, particularly for, long extended periods of time with family. I need to be prayed up. And knowing that I'm there to love God and love people, love God and love people. How do I do that today? How do I do that tomorrow? Um, yeah.
Those are your two commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Love God, love people.
Yeah.
Everything falls into those categories.
Very much.
So it's one thing, it's easy to say it, but man alive, it can be hard to execute that.
You're not kidding.
So,
You're not kidding.
but I think hopefully, this quick episode gives you guys just a few bullet points. Is there anything you felt like you left out?
No, I think we hit most everything that I can think of off the top of my head that's helpful when dealing with, family members
With the chaos.
with the chaos.
But we love them.
Yes, of course. Yes.
They're family. We love them. We don't know why, but we love them.
We don't know why. There's lots of reasons why. I just think that it's honest to say that family can be a little bit trying on your nerves. Even a
Refining process.
Even as a Christian, I don't know. Do Christians not say that? Because I know that I say that.
I know I think it. I don't know if I say
Yeah,
it.
I say the things that most people think in their head because that's just.
Which is why we hardly get invited over to people for the holidays.
I don't think that's the reason.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's food for thought.
Okay.
Food for thought. But guys, drive safe. Enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes.
We will see you on, I believe the next episode is scheduled something like January 5th, maybe, whatever that Monday is. You guys know the rhythm, every other Monday. We will see you then in 2026. Crazy to be saying that.
I know.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. It's been another fun year.
Yeah.
We will see you
Bye, guys.
in the next one.